What's going on, everyone? So reports came out that Andre Drummond is expected to leave the Chicago Bulls and be a free agent this upcoming offseason. And I think he'd be huge for the Lakers. He's somebody that I actually wanted the Lakers to go and trade for at the trade deadline. I was really big on like the Chicago Bulls trade, trying to get Alex Caruso, Andre Drummond. Originally was DeMar DeRozan. Then when DeMar DeRozan was off the table, I was okay. I was like, hey, let's go try to go get like a Zach LaVine. But nonetheless, I think Andre Drummond would really help in a lot of categories for the Lakers. Obviously, give us a legitimate big man that's physical, kind of bang with the big boys, help with the rebounding tremendously. That's like however you feel about Andre Drummond, there's no denying the rebounding side of things that he provides. And that was a huge issue for the Lakers last year. He's also one of the better offensive rebounders in the league. He's a guy that would really help in that regard. Doesn't really give you too much on the offensive side of things outside of, being a lob threat or getting putbacks and stuff. But still, he would be an ideal just big man off the bench that could come in, start alongside AD at times, back up AD, right? I think Andre Drummond would also get a lot of opportunity with the Lakers because especially during the regular season, because LeBron's probably going to miss 20 games, right? Anthony Davis probably going to miss 20 games, and Andre Drummond in those games could, easily slot in and start, right? So if LeBron misses, AD can slot to the 4, Andre Drummond can slot to and fill in for the 5. If AD misses a game, LeBron can stay at the 4. Andre Drummond can slot in at the 5. Andre Drummond has familiarity with the Lakers, right? Has familiarity with Anthony Davis as well as LeBron James. And I know a lot of people are not super high on his tenure, which I do understand to an extent. But he averaged a double-double for the Lakers coming in of a buyout and kind of just getting thrusted into the chaos that year. And still averaged a double-double, right? That's pretty good, right? And people act like he was just this scrub, this total bum that was just useless out there. And no, he was good. He wasn't the 2020 Andre Drummond, but he was also playing alongside Anthony Davis, LeBron James, again, kind of getting thrown into this mix where I think now he also understands his role. He understands what is needed from him, what's wanted from him. I mean, he even had a camp at one of his camps. I know I have the video here on as a short somewhere, so you guys can go find that short. I'll try to see if I can find it, maybe pin it down in the comments. But there was a short where he was at a camp, and he talked about the tenure. And he talked about how he had this ego. And he went from being a guy that was a max player that probably would have gotten max money or, if not max money, but a lot more money if he hadn't let his ego and just himself kind of get in the way of himself, right? That he was a guy that just, he thought he was bigger than he was, and he learned really quickly that, hey, I'm not that guy. And he eventually, matured and accepted his role. I think he can do that again. He's in a completely different mindset, it's a completely different space. He also has embraced that backup role, and he's been one of the best backup big men in the league. I mean, the guy's averaging in 17 minutes a game with the Chicago Bulls, averaged basically 9 and 9. Right? 9 rebounds and 9 points in 17 minutes of action. Right? Sign me up for that. I wish Jackson Hayes or Christian Wood or any of these other guys were giving us 9 points and 9 rebounds a game off the bench in 17 minutes of play. That's a home run. What's crazier is as a starter, and this sounds like made up numbers, but you can go look it up yourself, right? In the 10 games in which he started in the 2022 season, 2023, 2020, so last season, this season, that I guess isn't over yet at the time of recording this video, but this season, Andre Drummond averaged 17.9 rebounds. 17.9. He averaged 18 rebounds, 14.1 points, and 1.8 blocks in 10 games as a starter this season. And that was December 2023 all the way through February 2024 in that stretch that he started. That's pretty remarkable, right? In the games that he started this past season, according to StatMuse, he averaged 18 rebounds and 14 points with 2 blocks, right? Like that is quite impressive. And so to me, it's like if he can come in again, I'm not necessarily saying he's going to give you 18 and 50. I would love that if he could come in. You have to start him at that point. If he's giving you 18 rebounds, 14 points, and 2 blocks a game, you have to start him. I don't care what happens. But realistically, I don't think that'll hold up. And I also think because of LeBron kind of really needing to play the 4, I think ultimately he's going to end up being the backup. But again, I just think it's so low risk, high reward for Andre Drummond. I think he's a guy who's coming in. Again, he accepts and understands his role. He's a guy he's not really going to be fighting on his role. He's not going to be like he's going to come in on a vet minimum. You're not going to be paying him 10, 15, 20 million a year. Right? Like, again, a 9-9 guy off the bench on, what, $3.5 million a year or whatever his vet minimum is. Like, to me, that's a no-brainer. Right? Like, now, would I rather have maybe like a Valanciunas? Because I think Valanciunas is a little more versatile, sure. But I don't like Andre Drummond. Like, if you told me, hey, you get Andre Drummond, I'm not going to say no to that. And Andre Drummond might be cheaper, right? Like, you might have to use your taxpayer mid-level or your full mid-level for Valanciunas. And if for Andre Drummond, you only have to use your vet minimum, like, to me, at that point, like, let's say we could get either, right? Like, let's say you could get Valanciunas or Andre Drummond. Now, if they were both a vet minimum, I'd probably take Valanciunas. But let's say Valanciunas is the taxpayer mid-level, and then Andre Drummond is a vet minimum. At that point, I would take Andre Drummond, because then you could use your mid-level exception to go get another need, right? Maybe you could go take a flyer on somebody, get somebody in, right? Like, somebody that could help out on the perimeter, maybe get like a Royce O'Neal or something like that. I don't know if he would take that, but just an example, right? And now you got like a legit 3-and-D shooter. So to me, I just think Andre Drummond, he makes sense. He has familiarity. He's played alongside Anthony Davis. And again, playing alongside Anthony Davis gave you a double-double. I'm sure he's going to want to like get the best opportunity in which he gets to play and start and stuff, right? But I'm sure he's going to want to like contend and compete for, playoffs and the championship and stuff like that. And I think the Lakers kind of present all of that, right? Because again, like, you could entice Andre Drummond by like, hey, like, yes, you're going to be the backup center, but you're probably going to start like half the games. Because again, certain matchups, like if you play Denver, you're probably starting, you probably just move, LeBron to the 3 for that game and then go with like Andre Drummond to battle that. Or if you play Jokic. So like you could start Andre Drummond for the key matchups, right? Like I said, the Jokic's, the Embiid's, that kind of thing. But also more than anything, even if you just go with your standard lineup, you still have, again, probably 35 to 40 games in which Anthony Davis and LeBron James combined are probably going to miss. I know that they were really healthy this past season, but even if they are like relatively healthy again, I mean, that still would be 30 games collectively. So like, that's my point, is that like Andre Drummond is probably going to get a pretty good amount of opportunity, right? He'll probably get like, hey, you're not going to start every game, but you'll probably start, half, if not two-thirds of the season, maybe more, right? Like, yeah, it's very possible that he could end up starting a bunch of games, right? Like, worst case scenario, he starts maybe 40% of the games, right? But I think, it's very possible we could see 50 to 60% of the games him actually as like the primary starter at the center position, and I'm all for it. Right? Especially if he can give you 18 rebounds, 14 points, and 2 blocks per game. Now he's not like some like super star defensive big, right? He's not Victor Wembanyama or Anthony Davis, but he's a guy that can, he can defend, right? He can move his feet pretty well, right? He can block shots. He can get a little foul happy, right? Like the discipline at times isn't there with him, right? You'll see him, he kind of gets himself into foul trouble a lot, but a lot of the reason for that is because he is so aggressive and he is so physical and he is so like he's just going, which I like, right? Like obviously I don't want him fouling out every game, but like he's just a big physicality type player. Where like a Jackson Hayes kind of plays like Andre Drummond does, but Jackson Hayes just doesn't have the size and the strength that Drummond does. So to me, it's like, if you can bring in Drummond, I think him kind of doing the dirty work and being that high motor guy, I think makes a lot of sense, right? You kind of just let him go out there and just, hey, like, you know what your job is, let's get it, right? And he can just be the guy that rebounds and getting putbacks and, just doing all the little things that would lead to success. So I like the idea of Andre Drummond. He's somebody that I've been preaching about for like a year now, I think. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think, yes, Andre Drummond, go get him, right? Rebounding machine. Again, at worst, he's probably the best backup rebounder in the league. I mean, as a starter, 18 rebounds per game. As a starter. If he just gave us 12 a game or 10 a game, I'm not even saying he has to go get us 18. Right? He'd also be playing alongside Anthony Davis. So if he could even if he gets us 8 to 10, let's say he doesn't even get double digits, which if he's starting or playing, 20 minutes a game or something like that, he probably could get double digits. Right? Again, at 17 minutes a game, he was averaging 9 rebounds. So you give him 20, could he get 10, 11? Right? Like, that's huge for us. And again, he's not a guy that's coming in and you're asking him to play 30, 40 minutes. Right? He's not a guy that's probably even going to start, in like playoff matchups. So maybe, if you play Denver or something, maybe you start him a game or so. But for the most part, he's a guy that's going to be coming off the bench, playing 15 to 20 minutes a game. And if he can give you 8 and 8 in that time, to me, that's a no-brainer. You sign up for that. But anyways, always, again, this is a discussion. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot, so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.